So getting started with VidVersity. You'll see when you log in, you come to this area here, click on Launch Foundry, and it will launch you into the application. Now in relation to the application, we have our desktop application, which is this one here, and we also have our mobile application, which you have to activate. So by default, it's unactivated. Click on Activate, and it will issue a username and password for you. Now, what that allows you to do is you can provide that to people to send you videos. So they don't get access to this application, but they can create a video with their phone, either an iPhone or an Android device. And then using that code, they can go to the VidVersity app, upload it, and it will land here for you. So it's going to land in the video editor, and if you go to category under My App Videos, it will appear here. So great collaborative tool, but make sure when you first arrive on the dashboard, you do have to activate it. Now, the whole point of VidVersity is you start with a video. So the couple of ways you can do that. One, as I mentioned, you can do that using the mobile app, which you can do videos up to a good hour or so and press send or upload, and it will come straight to here, and you'll get an email to say that you've received it and we've received it and it's available for editing. So otherwise you could go into, you can record directly from a device if you're in an iOS device, or otherwise you can upload a video. Now, when it comes to uploading videos, once you start getting a lot, it can be very confusing. So I highly recommend for sort of all subject matter areas, create a category and put the videos in the category so they're all in one place. It's sort of like a filing system. Once you've uploaded your video, you then go to the video editor and you go into edit. Now what will happen is the video appears here. And your job is to start editing the video, and there's a couple of approaches to that. One is you might simply want to top and tail a video. So what you'd do is you'd press play and you'd get to the point in the video where you want the video to start, and you click mark in. And you've got these little plus and minus signs to help you be a bit more accurate. Again, you'd keep watching the video and you get to the point where you say, that's where I want it to finish, and you click on mark out. And in effect, what you're doing is you're cutting everything that's blue away and you're creating a new video of just the green area. So there's a couple of approaches. One is you could simply, as I say, top and tail. What I tend to do is if I filmed a 1-hour lecture, I might use this as to chunk it down into chapters. Now where that's important is down here where it says title, call it something meaningful. So call it, in this instance, I've called it number 1, why we need a Royal Commission. And you then click on cut and save. The reason that is when you come to put them all together, you mightn't remember what the individual videos were about, and you also mightn't be able to remember the sequence you want them in. So by putting 1, 2, 3, 4, you can always change this later. It helps it bring it all together as a course. So the first thing is you must work with the video. Then you're ready to create a course. So you go to courses and you add a course. The title that you put here, so whatever we do, we'll call it Royal Commission. Whatever title you put there, that's what the learner sees in the top left-hand corner. Again, category, always thinking about creating a category, so we create a category for the videos, but also for the course. So this is the course category. Keywords, metadata really. Choose an image. If you want an image in the top left-hand corner, you can choose that. And presenter, you might want to say who it is and where they're from. You then decide if the learners can skip the chapters or do they have to do them sequentially. All of this can be changed at any time, so you don't have to feel overwhelmed that if you got it wrong. Click on save, and you've created a course shell now, but there's nothing in it. So you go to edit and lock, and we'll create our first chapter. And if we go down to categories of Royal Commission, you'll see by naming them 1, 2, 3, 4, I can see which one I want to be chapter 1. And by choosing that, it actually populates the title of the chapter. And so back when you're editing, if you use meaningful names, you really won't have to do a lot of editing at the when you're putting them all together. Check answer. If there's questions, do they have to do it? And click on save. Once we've done that, the video sits here and we click on play, And at any time, if we want an asset to appear, we wanted an asset to appear. We want something to pop up here. The choices are you can add a question. So if you want to add a question at that point in time, you can add a resource. A resource is a link to something. So click to open handout is something we've got. And I'm just going to take a page, a web page. So when we link to a resource, it can either be a URL or it can be a document. So click on save. Now what's important when you're adding any of these is you decide when you want them to appear. So if we wanted this to appear at 4 seconds, drag this along to 4 seconds, click on the tick, and we've now made sure that that will pop up. So you can add a question, a resource, a note. A note is something that's going to become printable for the learner. So this is a great place to sort of your takeaways, the key points, because as we know, learners love something to hand out. Again, we've decided this is at 4 seconds, but actually I want that to pop up at 9 seconds. We can add slides. So PowerPoint slides, you can, using the slideshow bank, you can upload your own PowerPoints. You have to do that as images. So you save an image as a PNG or a JPEG, and then you create like a slide bank. And then in here, if I wanted to actually add some slides, they'll be sitting there because I've pre-prepared them, and I'll click on save. And I'd like them to be at the very beginning. And the last thing I can do is add a subtitle. So I could put the name of the person if I wanted and where they're from. Again, I'll decide I'll pop that up at about, let's make that 2 seconds. So in this particular chapter, we've got a number of assets that we've added, and they're going to pop up at different times. And you can't have them popping up at the same time. It will confuse the system, except questions. You can have questions, a series of questions pop up at exactly the same time, and it sort of creates a quiz-like environment. I'm going to add one more chapter. So we'll go back to Royal Commission across the top. And this time, again, I've added chapter. Remember, it's all in the categories. This one's called Senate Inquiry. Click on Save. Again, if I wanted to add anything throughout it, I can work with that particular chapter here. I'm going to go up to Royal Commission and back to the front page. A few little things here. This is where I could change the presenter profile. I could change the name of the course. I could add an image if I want. Under navigation, I decide if I'm allowed to skip chapters or not. I then can, under tracking, I can decide how am I going to assess this if I am assessing it? Is it by the questions? And if so, what percentage do they have to get correct? Or is it a number of chapters viewed? Or would you like a combination? So we've got no questions, so I'm going to say that I want them to have seen 90% of the chapters. That's for when you send it to an LMS with SCORM or LTI. I'm now going to publish the course. Now when I say publish, no one can see it but me, and I'm going to preview the course. And so there's our slides we've added. So you start to get a sense of, this is where I put the name of the course. There's the presenter details. You'll see I've created a couple of chapters. Under resources, these two are quite handy. Under resources, all the links you create throughout the videos are put in this one library, which is really useful if a learner has gone and done the course and then a few weeks later comes back and wants to find something that you link to. They're all aggregated in resources. And also the same with notes. The notes sit here and they can print them out. So let's start looking through what we've got. So there's our subtitle that we put in. There's a link to the handout that we put in. And you'll see that there's the notes. So what you're doing, and you'll see this is really important from a learning perspective, you're stopping the video every time you're asking them to do something. And that's a really great way to keep the learner engaged rather than a very, very passive experience. So as you see, we've built a course really quickly. The key is having the video and then adding the assets throughout.